Things are getting worse just as they did back when I was your age. But back then, there were 10,000 Jedi Knights protecting the galaxy. Now,
there's just you and me.
We rob from the Empire, give to the needy. A noble cause.
Yeah.
I'm on my mark.
Gotcha!
Mission accomplished.
Lord Vader.
Yes, Master.
The rebels in the Lothal system. Hunt them down.
As you wish.
Fighter, coming in at Mark 3.
We've lost Phoenix 1 and 2.
We will squeeze Lothal until someone reveals the whereabouts of these traitors.
For the good of Lothal, we have to leave.
All right if I tag along?
The more the merrier.
Fighting alongside soldiers isn't what I signed up for.
We are fighting a bigger fight.
We can't just run.
Ezra, we were lucky to survive. The fear, the anger, the hate. I haven't sensed a presence like that since...
The Clone Wars.
My name is Rex, Captain. 501st Clone Battalion. I fought with Commander Tano during the Clone Wars. And a friend of hers is a friend of mine.
Everyone, hang on!
Good news, we are off on an adventure.
Rex, keep those ties off our back.
Working on it!
Surrender or be destroyed.
I hope you brought a better class of soldier than those stormtroopers.
They'll all be coming now.
I'm not afraid.
That's what worries me.
Your master has deceived you into believing you can become a Jedi.
Hey YouTubers, so they just released a trailer for Season 2 of Star Wars Rebels. This is going to be my breakdown of it. Pretty much the trailer puts Darth Vader in center stage. He's going to have a big presence in this season judging by this trailer. Darth Vader is one of the biggest and most baddest villains in the Star Wars canon and in pop culture. So there's no way that Kanan and the crew will defeat Vader. There's just no possible way. I said this in my episode 13 review for Season 1 that what I think is going to happen is that Vader will defeat the rebels and have them separate. Vader by then will have accomplished his goal because in the trailer you hear the Emperor giving him the task to hunt down the rebels. So with that done, he leaves and then the rebels could come back in the third season. You know, that is if they get picked up for a third season. Rebels was renewed for a second season before the first season even started airing on TV, so even if the show doesn't get good ratings, Disney would want to keep this series going for as long as it possibly can. The ratings for Season 1 weren't all that great. They were pretty decent for children's shows, but it may come to a point that the ratings are so bad that Disney would just have to cancel it. Now that we have the sequel trilogy coming out, Disney will want to revert all their attention there and start making content that fits in that time period so they can make more money. I don't see that happening for a while. Maybe after Episode 8, that will start happening. We get a good look at some of the storylines, mostly individual episode arcs. Kanan dressed up as a stormtrooper, really looking forward to that episode. That looks like a lot of fun. Season 1 was filled with many misadventure episodes. That will change in Season 2. Don't forget that we have the plot line with Ezra's parents. That plot will probably be solved in this season. If not, we'll get more information upon it. I do think that Ezra's parents have something to do with the whole Rebel Cell plot, so if that plot is touched upon, and now that the Rebels are spending so much time with this new Rebel Cell, then we'll get some more information about Ezra's parents. And speaking of the Rebel Cell, we get to see them in action. This may or may not be like the first incarnation of the Rebel Alliance. Like, we have Rebel Cells at first, and then it turns out to be something bigger than it already is, so it turns out to be the Rebel Alliance. Hera stated that they have to leave Lothal. The reason for that probably is that they're so close to getting caught by the Empire, especially with Vader thrown in the mix now. Because they're leaving, that means that we'll get new planets to explore. We get to see many different planets in this trailer, and we get to see Ahsoka joining the Rebels in their journey across the galaxy. Because Ahsoka is joining the crew, the things that I want to see her do is train Ezra and Kanan. It's not exactly been addressed on screen, but Kanan isn't a Jedi Knight. He was a Padawan during the Clone Wars and Order 66. So because Kanan is a Padawan, he still has a lot more to learn. Ahsoka's a Padawan too, but since she's been trained by Anakin and went on this really big trial for being framed for a crime she didn't commit, you could say that she's reached knighthood if she was still in the Jedi Order. There are usually 5 different phases in the trials that Padawans have to face before becoming a Jedi Knight. There's Trial of Skill, Lightsaber Technique, Trial of Courage, Bravery, Trial of the Flesh, Overcoming Physical Pain, Trial of the Spirit, looking within themselves and seeing the darkness that lies within them, and Trial of Insight, to use the Force to see what is presented in front of them. Ahsoka's definitely passed Trial of Skill and Courage. Spirit, Flesh, Insight, probably all achieved during her time away from the Order. Remember, Ahsoka has had 10 to 15 years to herself, so she's probably come across a lot of trials in that time. The second thing I would want to see Ahsoka do is fight Vader. That would be a fair fight considering that Ahsoka trained with Anakin, so she knows his strengths and weaknesses, and vice versa. Vader knows Ahsoka's strengths and weaknesses. But you have to take into account that they've been apart for some time, so their skills have changed, but still, Vader and Ahsoka would be a fair fight. Kanan and Ezra fighting Vader is just not a good mix. There is no way that Kanan can defeat Vader. I think Kanan could hold his own to Vader, but not exactly defeat him. Ezra, on the other hand, is a whole other story. He couldn't even fight the Inquisitors, so Vader is just a big no way. He nearly gets his neck cut in this trailer by Vader, so that just shows that Ezra is just not ready, nor will he ever be, to face Vader. Kanan has a better chance of improving thanks to Ahsoka than Ezra does, so if we can stay away from Ezra fighting Vader, that would be great. Besides from Vader, we get a look at 2 new Inquisitors. Remember, Inquisitors are not Sith. The rule is that there can only be 2 Sith, a master and an apprentice. The Emperor is the master, and Vader is the apprentice. That rule doesn't mean that you can't have assassins that practice the Sith ways. Just think of the Inquisitors like that, Sith assassins. There is a masked Inquisitor. She's probably a she, though. How crazy would it be if this was Barriss Offee? Remember, Barriss was the Padawan of Luminara Unduli. She committed a bombing on the temple as a way of showing the Order how corrupt they've become. Originally, she was supposed to be in the Order 66 sequence back in Episode 3, then it was cut. Then in the Season 5 finale of the Clone Wars, she was supposed to die, but Dave Filoni, the supervising director of the show at the time, had it cut out of the episode and said that he had other plans for her. Filoni is the executive producer of Rebels, so it could be possible that his plans were to make her a part of the Empire. It would do him some good to close up where that character ended up going and give us another opportunity for Ahsoka to fight her. They're really giving us a lot of Clone Wars characters. We have Ahsoka, maybe Barriss, even Rex and Hondo show up in this trailer. It's like they want the Clone Wars fans to be satisfied and see where they all go beyond the Clone Wars. If you're wondering why Rex and the other 2 clones aren't a part of the Empire, there are really 2 things that I have to explain. First of all, the Empire stopped using clones and started recruiting regular people. That's why in Episode 5 of Rebels, you see regular kids joining the Empire Academy. The second reason is that in the Clone Wars series, there was this arc that explained Order 66 in a way. All of the clones were given inhibitor chips during their development that forced them to comply with the commands of killing all Jedi. They were able to cover this story up by saying that the inhibitor chips, lower their aggression considering that they were clones of Jango Fett, a bounty hunter. There was a clone whose inhibitor chip malfunctioned, and he ended up killing a Jedi. It led to his other clone comrade, ARC Trooper 5's, figuring out the real reason for why he acted up. He discovered the truth, which alerted Chancellor Palpatine, so he had 5's framed for attempting to kill him. It led to his death, and before he died, he told Rex what he discovered. Rex most likely would have told the other clones this discovery, so that's why they're alive as well. The Clone Wars was actually supposed to have a lot more storylines. I think it was supposed to go up to season 7 or 8. They had a bounty hunter arc that would explain the fate of Cad Bane, an original character created for the show and was just a badass. They also had several Ahsoka episodes, I believe 10 or 12 episodes she was supposed to show up in. There was even going to be an arc where Captain Rex and R2 hijack a super battle droid and they would become really attached to it. The worst news was that the series would have truly ended with the events of Revenge of the Sith unfolding and expanding upon that period. So we would have seen Anakin turn to the dark side, Obi-Wan fight Anakin, the formation of the Empire, see Padme give birth to Luke and Leia and then die. Pretty much everything in episode 3 taking in the show's animation and style. It's okay now because we get to see Ahsoka, Captain Rex, Hondo. However, it is still sad. The Clone Wars was a masterpiece of a series. It was so amazing how the story was written for this kid's series. Just talking about the Clone Wars makes me really miss it even more. I'm probably going to go on Netflix now and watch the entire series. So, here's my question for you guys. What did you think about this trailer? Are you excited for Season 2? Leave your thoughts down in the comments below and subscribe for reviews on Season 2 when the first episode airs in the fall. Subscribe to my other channel, Jedi Knight 450, links are down below, and follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Tumblr to stay updated. Thank you so much for watching, bye.
Good news, we are off on an adventure.